Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on NRL SC Off the Bench podcast. We're coming to you on where I am, very wet Tuesday. It seems to be wet every single day. The chances of Costa Harbour actually having a race meeting that goes ahead this year are very, very limited indeed. How are you, Rosco?
Afternoon. Yeah, we've had a bit of weather down here too. We had a bucket load of rain earlier, but it's just been very random. It's not like you where it's raining all the time, but yeah, a little bit around, but yeah, it's not too bad now. Stop raining.
No, very good. Well, the teams list are out now. There is there's a few shocks. A few of them we knew were coming. Some pretty wild developments. So without too much of ado, we might just jump straight in and get into it. As usual, folks, if you are out there on the live streamers, do give us a question, give us a shout out, give us a hello, and let us know what's happening out there. So without much more, we might add this teams list up there so you don't have to look at our rude heads too much longer. And we'll start. Do you want to do the first game or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll go through the first one. So obviously with the Women's Origin game being played Thursday night, the first game will actually be Friday this round, which is I'd like to think this is the wooden spoon bowl, Brad. I mean, we talk about Parramatta and the Tigers, but I mean, what a game to start the round, 6 o'clock on a Friday night. We have the Knights versus the Eels. The ins for this game is Fletcher Hunt will debut on the wing, replacing Greg Marzu, who's out injured. Zach Lomax returns from injury on the wing, replacing Bailey Simonson, who's out injured. We've got Tyson Frizzell moving from lock to prop with Leo Thompson out with concussion. Elliott from the bench to lock. And then you've got Matale debuting on the bench for the Knights. And also Charlie Goomer's been dropped with Matt Dory named to start on an edge. Yeah.
Interesting. So what catches your eye here?
Well, I mean, obviously Lomax, but this is obviously for him. This is his last chance to prove that he warrants that wing spot for Origin. Other than that, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how this Fletcher Hunt goes, but obviously might get one price rise, maybe two out of him. Obviously bottom dollar cheapy as well. So I don't know if he's worth looking at. What's your thoughts on him, Brad? Given it's only probably about a 4 to 5 week play.
Yeah, probably not at the moment. The one I do like in there, I'll let you think about this. Jacob Saifidi, coming off the back of 260 plus scores. He's got a minus BE, I think.
Yeah,
and he's 371,000 or somewhere around about that mark. As people are going to be moving along Matty Nicholson by Jules, you could get a lot worse. 370k. He's got some money to make there.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad option because obviously most people are probably going to go to Tarpany or to Zach Hoskins, which I'm sure we'll speak about shortly. But, if you want the downgrade option, bank some cash, and then you might actually be able to get, use a boost and get 3 guns out of it, like bring a Herbie in or bring like a Karaz and then say Safidi in as well. I actually don't mind it, but I know a lot of people who've already had a boost, so I don't know how many people's going to be able to do that move.
Well, Teddy, if he's out there, he'll be out of boost by now.
We know Dickus is also out of them as well. So Big Dickus is in trouble too.
But no, yeah, we're going to be pointing out during this one today a few different options for front row forward and second row because that's really where our focus is going to be. I think Ross will agree with that, with Matty Nicholson being out, and there certainly is a few there. All right, so do we go to the next game?
Yeah, well, unless I don't have nothing else for that game. So next game is the Dogs versus the Roosters. Lindsay Collins comes onto the bench for the Roosters. Luke Smith will debut off the bench for the Dogs. Salmon or weak-gutted dog, or however you want to pronounce it, or what do you want to say, he's out injured. Fiketti dropped back to the reserves. Harry Hayes will go from the bench to the edge. Now, does that make him an option, Brad? Harry Hayes starting on an edge. Salmon's out for 10 weeks. You still got Preston out for another 3 weeks. You've still got Tupanua out for another 1 to 2 weeks. You've still got Curran out another 1 or 2 weeks. Or do you think it won't?
Yeah. I think he certainly is an option. He along with we've already mentioned one. Harry Hayes is your next option you could possibly consider. I think he's around about 420K.
Yeah.
I think he also has a negative BE, does he? Or it's very, very low.
Yeah, I can check that one. My only concern, Brad, is that when Tupanua, I think Tupanua is 1 more week away, as is Josh Curran. So I would say probably my only concern is that one of them will probably come in and start on that edge spot, and then Hayes probably goes back to the bench. He's 415K with it. No, he's got to break even at 60.
Oh, 60. So
it's probably no go then.
He's probably at the bottom of the picking order then.
Yeah, forget about him.
There's nothing really that relevant in the Roosters because most of us have got any Roosters really.
The only one I want to speak about is Mr. Alphabet, Brad. 600K. I really like him as an option to replace Marzu or an Adam Dewey if you're looking to move them on.
Wow, it's a fair amount to pay for.
Yeah.
It's. I don't know if I was going to pay that, I would pay. It's bugger all extra to get a Garrick, for instance.
Yeah, I'm waiting a week for Garrick because he's got a massive break even this week. So I don't really like the matchup against the Cowboys up there either. So. Yeah.
Should you save your money? That's all I'm sort of saying. You can do the other trade, but save your cash for because people like Fanua, Blake, or Garrick are going to be out of your reach unless you try to plan.
Yeah, well, I'm potentially looking at doing Tom Jenkins to Garrick next week. Is one of my trades. Because obviously the Panthers only cover the first bye and that's it. So after that, they're pretty much no good.
You know, Tom Jenkins has a BE of -2 at the moment, which means you'll have a BE of -2 next week.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about selling this week. I'm talking about selling next week.
But he'll still have a break even of -2 next week.
Well, will he, though? He's coming off the bench again. Yeah. I know they've got to buy it. That's right. Sorry, they've got to buy it. Don't worry about that.
So they've got
Forget
to buy
about that. Ignore that.
Still be -2.
Yeah. And you'd imagine he gets a start in that round 12 as well with Brian Tottle most likely missing for Origin as well as Edwards.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine that he slots onto the wing and then Dane Laurie probably goes to fullback.
Yes, yeah. All right, couple of questions coming through. Evening Legends from Mike. We'll get on to your favourite dragon soon there, Mike. He hasn't deleted the app yet.
Beast you can't.
Nathan, Nathan, how you going there, mate? Good to see you back in. He says boost till you can't.
Well, Nathan, I want to know what a booster's worth, mate, because I've got 2 left. I'm hoping to sell one, but if the price is right.
All right, Joey Alchin, I reckon you're right here, Joey. Joey has said the Knights are so bad they will make the Eels look good.
Yeah. They probably lead like 30-0 at halftime and then lose.
All right. So, Joey also says, beware of the chook. Well, we know why.
Yeah.
Nathan says Hayes isn't a buy. Yeah, we sort of ruled that one out in the end. Who we got next up? Just a couple more. We'll get these out of the way. Big Ted running late. Hello. Yeah, we are running a bit late there. Sorry about that. Had a few things that came up. One of my boys' birthdays is today, so I had to have a quick beer with him.
Priorities, mate. Priorities. Good to see.
Absolutely. All right, our third game to kick off Super Saturday, Ross. What's happening here with the Dolphins and the Warriors?
Yeah, so Dolphins versus the Warriors. For the Dolphins, No changes for them at all. For the Warriors, Fisher Harris returns at prop. Jackson Ford's out with concussion. Healy comes onto the bench and Bunty forward drops out. Now, I throw this one, Brad, because I've been asked by several people about purchasing Aaron Clark. 668k dual position. Does Fisher Harris back affect him, or does it? You think it more only affects Barnett in regards to minutes and stuff?
I think it might affect the bench probably more than anything, but it's certainly not. I don't think it's going to affect Aaron Clark. Aaron Clark has been doing it all year. He's the one that got away. He got away from every single one of us, just about. We all sort of overlooked him at the beginning of the year, but good on the Warriors for bringing out the best in somebody. Look at Luke Halasima is also an option. He's a hell of a lot cheaper, and I think he's got a pretty low break even himself.
We spoke about him on the pod the other night. I think Dan brought him up as well. I just feel like Zach Hoskins, yes, he's not dual, but he's starting on an edge at 500k, so he's 170k cheaper than what Aaron Clark is. Matty Nicholson's been ruled out for 12 weeks. You've got Horse going into Origin as well. So I actually don't mind him either. And there was another one that I was potentially looking at as well. But I myself, don't know what your thought is on Brad. I can't pay 670k for Aaron Clark. I just think I think that ship sailed, but I don't know. He keeps proving us wrong though.
I can't pay 670 for him. As I said, we're going to be looking at a few options for in that second row today, with a few expected to be out for a while. And Origin's also going to be looming for a few. Nathan says Clark is a gun and set and forget at the moment. Look, I reckon you're right. If you've got him, you just said
absolutely.
All, and you can play him every single week. But do you buy him now at that high premium? That's the issue. The non-owners have got. I remember this sort of thing came up last year when a lot of people jumped on May early, but those that didn't then were stuck throughout the year going, oh, do we get on? Do we not? Aaron Clark is that sort of, 670, you nearly get an Eli Katoa.
I was also thinking too as well with Joey Tarpany, obviously his minutes are starting to increase in workload, and obviously with Horse going into Origin too, for me, if it's me, I'm paying the extra 60k and getting Tarpany, or I'm banking 170k and I'm getting Hoskins.
Yeah, and Nathan sort of then agreed with me on that sort of second half in there. He thinks the boat has sort of sailed on him. I really wish I'd got him, Nathan. I'll tell you what.
But the funny thing is, as we said on the podcast on Sunday night, obviously you went on, Brad, that he, no matter what club he's gone to, no matter what position he's played, he's never, ever been Supercoach relevant. And he's probably scored more Supercoach points this year than what he's got in his entire career. So, anyway.
Obviously, Harvey Farnworth, whatever.
Herbie, meep.
He's one that, we're all eyeing off, trying to squeeze in somehow. Several forwards. I see Francis Molo is now making an appearance there for the Dolphins, but not relevant. So don't even worry about going there because there's cheaper and better options out there. All right, Manly and the Cowboys up there in Townsville this one. This is a bit of a worry game for Manly, a bit of a worry team for both of them. But there's really big news here. Zach Layerbuck comes back into the centres. Jackson Purdue moves from the centres.
Yuck.
Disposing and moves to 5'8". Roscoe says yuck. I say
it's yuck.
I don't mind it.
As an owner, I don't like it. I just think his work rate's going to be way down on what it is in the centres. I don't know. I'm now debating on whether I actually play him this week or not. Like, I was definitely playing him because he was playing in the centres, but now I don't know with him playing in the halves. I don't know how he's going to go. I know he has played halves before, I think in Q Cup, but I don't know. It's a tough one, Brad.
Yeah, I think you hold at the moment, obviously with his BE, etc. But you
Yeah.
But I don't think that. I just don't know. You never know. It could be an absolute masterstroke. It could be it could be poor. I'm not sure which way this one's going to go.
Yeah.
If anyone else has got an idea how the Purdue experiment's going to go, let us know. But do you jump off now or do you hold? He could end up being a Fletcher Sharp. He looks like Fletcher Sharp in a lot of respects. So he could be like a Fletcher Sharp sort of one.
I agree. I didn't think he was that bad either.
Yeah, so Nathan's come in. He doesn't reckon Clifford was really that bad. I was talking to a young bloke earlier about it, and he was sort of of the same opinion. He's going, well, why? They're actually running 6, the Cowboys. They're actually going pretty damn good.
Yeah. I mean, they had a draw. They had a draw against one of the best, against the 4-time premiers. I mean, really. I mean, I don't know. I just find it odd to be making this move now. I mean, I can understand if they're struggling, but they're not. So, I know he's a gun, Teddy. I just don't know if he's going to be gun in the halves, though. I need to see a game out of him first. Believe me, mate. I still own him. I held him. I'm not one of the 19,000 that sold him last week. So I just have to make a decision on if I'm going to play him or not.
Yeah, I don't know whether Clifford the Big Red Dog is any good either. I must admit, I'm not really a Clifford fan. He occasionally does a bit of this and a bit of that.
I say bring back Dufty. Bring back Dufty. I've still got him in my dream team. Bring him back in at 200K.
All right. So moving on from that major news, where were we? You made me lose my thought. All right.
Just the other changes while you go through that, Brad. So obviously Gerbo goes from prop to lock. Tavanga goes from lock to hooker. Simpkin goes from hooker to the bench, and then Bullymore goes from the bench to prop as well. So they're the other big changes as well.
Yeah, I don't think you shouldn't be touching any of those Manly players probably till next week. Garrick looks like a buy next week. He would be the main one you would consider. You wouldn't go near Turbo. He's still got a BE of 160 or something, which we know if he gets his shit together he can get. But he looks very timid and unsure.
Do you think he's 100%, Brad? Because these 2 games that he's played since he's been back, he's just not getting involved like he usually does.
It could also be mind games. Might be worried about reoccurrence of injury. I suppose I don't know, but certainly the involvement is certainly there. The runs are sort of there. It's just even when he gets half a break or hits the line or into the line, just doesn't look to be doing it with the same aggression and purpose to get those line breaks that we used to see. I don't think there's anyone really relevant in Manly, as I said, at the moment.
Well, the only other one that would be relevant, but he's stupidly priced, is Leo Hopewadi if Turbo plays Origin. But even then, he's so expensive, so I don't think I could go anywhere near him. Cooler's, been in some form as well, but he's expensive as well. So might as well move on to the next game.
All right, next game is Sharks and Storms. Take it away, Ross.
So Talakai returns on the bench from concussion. Kamakamika comes onto the bench. Tommy Hazelton is out injured, and Nass drops to the reserves, which I find very interesting considering the game we had first game back against I know it was against the Tigers and we got demolished, but I actually thought he was really, really good. So I'm surprised that he's not in that 17, but I guess we may even expect a late change at some stage and he comes back in.
Yep.
I mean, other than that, options obviously for this game. I mean, KL Hero, I think he's going to be pretty popular this week as well. There were some massive scores in that game, obviously, on the weekend with Pappy going 180, Hughes turned up, Munster turned up as well, even Xavier Coates as well. But most of those guys, obviously, bar Hughes, is going to probably play Origin. I'm still on the thought that I reckon Pappy gets a bench spot as well for Origin. I just think they have to have him there. You could have Connor Watson in there as well as a number 15. He can play some dummy half. He can play some lock. He can play wherever the hell they need him to play. So, but I just think Pappy will bring that X factor to the team. So I'll be very surprised if Laurie doesn't pick him on the bench.
I wouldn't rule out him being picked at fullback, mate.
I don't think they pick him again. I don't think he gets picked ahead of Edwards or Teddy.
He's the form fullback at the moment.
You reckon he's playing better than Teddy at the moment, honestly?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Probably only argument then is you go have a look at the opposition the Storms had recently and then the opposition that the Roosters have had. Yeah. Maybe the Roosters have had a bit tougher time. You know, they did play Penrith and a few others, and so maybe.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one.
Let us know, people. Who do you reckon was being better form? Is it Teddy or is it the Paps? I say the Paps. So what else here with this one?
AFB's actually getting cheap. He's another one as well. And I'm seeing a lot of people this week, and I'm interested on your thoughts on this one. I know that the Panthers have got a bye, and then obviously Cleary misses probably 5 of the next however many games it is he'll miss.
Yeah.
Would you be selling Nathan Cleary to Nico Hines? If you don't own Hines already, obviously. I mean, you know, so you might have a Hughes or you might have someone else.
Well, if you got Hughes, you're holding Hughes, right?
Yeah.
So you might be running, Hughes and Cleary. Would you sell Cleary? Yeah, probably would, you know. Yeah. I think Hines has got nearly 100 in him every week, no matter, even if he's not going that great. So, yeah, it's an awful lot of points to have sitting there on your bench not doing anything. So, yeah.
I actually don't mind it, but I don't like the matchup this game. Like I can see a world of doing that trade next week. Yeah. But I couldn't do it this week though, not against the Storm, because obviously if you bring Hines in this week, you're playing him, and it's not a great matchup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's all right. Where else? What else was this game were we looking at? So Billy Burns, I actually own him. Your boat might have sailed there if you didn't get on him.
Teague Wilton's named on the extended bench too, so there's a chance he comes in.
Yeah, but Burns has been in pretty good form, you know. I think if you had any doubt on Teague Wilton, you'd probably hold him back because Burns is certainly not letting them down there at all, is he? He's going good.
Yeah, it's an interesting bench. I was just trying to think if maybe Teague Wilton comes back via the bench, but who do they drop out of that bench?
Well, Jesse Colby, unfortunately, would have to be the one that gives way.
Most likely, yeah.
And to that point, you are correct. It is quite an interesting bench. All right, Joey's favourite team out there. G'day, Joey, again. We've got the Broncos versus the Drag Queens. Mikey McGaw, here goes your team, mate. Who's going to win this game? Rosco.
So Inns is Ezra Mam is in at 5'8", replacing Ben Hunt, who's done his hammy. Laurie comes in onto the bench for the Dragons. Couchman's out injured, so he's gone for 3 weeks. DeBella moves from the bench to prop, and they are the changes for this game. And if the Broncos cannot win this game, and if they can't win at home and bounce back and win this game, well then we can nearly put a line through them too, I reckon. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if you got a Bronco in your team, you actually play him this week. Mind you probably should have sold Jesse Arthurs. If you haven't,
Shibasaki too.
Shibasaki would be another one, and obviously Payne Haas. The risk with Payne Haas, if they do get ahead, they probably will rest him for an extended period. But beyond that, yeah.
One I want to speak about, Brad, and obviously this was a late change that was made last week, was that Xavier Willison went to the bench. Brendan Piakura started and played 80 minutes. He plugged out about a 65 all in basically base, and he's priced at like 260K.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like I wouldn't. There are too many other good options. Yeah, there's too many other good options around. to be even considering him, an even cheap option. So, you wouldn't probably do it.
On your mic.
Mikey says 13 plus to the drag.
You never know. Hey, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. As long as Blake Laurie doesn't play.
And he's hoping that Blake Laurie. Hey, he was your captain last year.
Yeah, he was playing Origin too, wasn't he, or something as well?
He was hanging around the squad, yes. Blake Laurie a couple of years ago, captain, and now can barely even get into the team. Amazing how that's fallen.
Just quietly for those playing draft, Jack DeBellin is very lowly owned in draft. Just quietly, I mean, you could do a lot worse than picking him up in your front row position if you need a prop for draft, not for classic, just for draft only. Can't hear you, Brad. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
So, he is. I've got him in one draft, and I actually quite like him because he's front row, second row dual in your draft. Being able to swap players in and out when you don't have many resources is a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this looks like the last game, 4 o'clock. Oh no, there'll be 3 games, won't there, on Sunday?
Yeah, there's another game to come. The game of the round's the last one.
Titans versus the Raiders. Wow. You would think the Raiders by $1 billion, but this year, I wouldn't mind seeing the Titans.
Would it be like a 40-30 game, like a scoreline, or 40 all or some shit?
The Raiders are basically unchanged. The back line's all the same. Starling to start in at hooker. The big thing here, though, is Zach Hosking takes the edge spot of Matty Nicholson.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean he gets 80 minutes or not? I don't know.
Looking at that bench, I'm going to say yes.
He's 470,000. He's got a couple of price rises definitely in him. He will most likely be the most traded player this week.
Well, he should be. I mean, as we said earlier, Horse is going to play Origin, so whether he then moves, I would say that depending on how he goes, he probably stays on the edge, and they'll probably start Mariota or Sagi at prop to replace Horse for Origin. But I'm interested to see how he's going to go. I'm going to bring him in this week, but I just don't know if I would have preferred him to play 80 on an edge or play like 60 minutes at prop. Just the work rate difference, Brad. I don't know. I mean, I just think at that price, I can't pass him up. He's just too cheap.
The Titans, they've got Brimson and Campbell starting again together as they did last week in the halves. They're a completely different team with actual halves that distribute the ball properly. And a lot more creativity in this team than what we've seen in previous weeks. Fermor, he's a relevant player. He's another one, but he's about 600 and something. He's not exactly cheap, but he certainly has been playing well. And Tino, you all should have him. Everybody should have him.
That's the one that I'll let through to the keeper, Brad.
Oh, is it? You don't have him? Oh.
No, and the other one to note too is Kieran Foran's named back to return on the bench as well. Yeah,
but that's the extended bench show, isn't it?
No, he's named at number 14.
Oh, he's on 14. Oh,
yeah. So I would imagine he's probably going to play some dummy half.
Yeah, some experience around there wouldn't be a bad thing, I guess. But
I think it's going to come down as to how De Groot goes in this game, because if Foran comes back to start in that team, then you'd imagine that probably AJ Brimson or Campbell goes back to fullback. Otherwise,
yep. No, 100%. All right, your fun little team here, Rosco, featuring next.
Surely we can't play any worse than what we did last Sunday.
What do you got for us?
All right, Safatoa returns in the centres. AJ's back from his injury on the wing for the Bunnies. Jack Bird comes onto the bench. Pole's out injured. Fletcher Myers drops out for Alex Johnson, and Talon De Silva drops to the reserves. Brent Naden goes from centres to the bench, and Royce Hunt goes from the bench to prop. I think there's absolutely no Supercoach relevance to this game. The only bloke that I have an interest in him to keep an eye on is obviously Colin Matangi, Brad.
Yeah, look, Colin Matangi's hit about the bottom now. He's not going to get any cheaper than what he is now. So if you want him, now's the time to jump on him. It looks like the Wayne is sticking with the policy of sticking him in the front row, which is a lot better for Supercoach scoring, and he is concerned. He doesn't go very well Supercoach-wise when he's on an edge, but he certainly does when he's plonked back in the middle. So whether he's playing 13 or whether he's playing 10, you get about the same result out of him. I like Colin Matangi, to tell you the honest truth.
That bench for the Tigers is absolutely putrid. You've got Brent Naden, Tony Sakar, Jack Bird, and Sione Fainu. Now, that to me means that May's probably going to play 80 minutes. Not that he's already pretty much is anyway, but I just don't see the bench staying like that. That is absolutely horrible. That's worse than what the bloody Bunnies bench is.
Tony Sakar, is he a prop forward or something? Is he a middle at all?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's a middle, but he's probably not a buy because he's been in and out of the team. Not to mention the Tigers' buy coverage is absolutely terrible. We only play one of the major buys as well. I couldn't go near him. I don't trust Benji with his rotation with the forwards either, so it's a no-go for me.
You see Alan Fisher's comment there. Thanks for that, Al. He's saying that Appy, if he gets 80, could be a buy. He'd be one to definitely look out for. A hooker is such a bludger of position. But
it's shocking. It's shocking. I probably wouldn't, especially not yet with the Tigers' buy schedule. As I said, I'm pretty sure they only cover around 18 of the major buys. I'd be waiting for Harry Grant to come back after Origin. He's going to be dirt cheap as well after Origin. He's already started to drop a heap of coin. He's named on the extended bench this week. So especially not the way the Tigers are playing at the moment either. And we had a bit of a chat about their draw coming up. It's pretty putrid, to be honest with you. It's a really bad draw after this week.
Who's South Sydney?
No, Tigers draw.
Yeah,
it's not great.
It's a pity Timmy's not here to tell me how the Rabbitohs draw was looking into the future. Have they got a good draw or a bad draw? What's
do you want to know scores as well as the draw, or what do you want to know?
No, I was just wondering how their draw looked going forward. I hadn't even thought about that over the 5 period. Because they're not relevant. I do have Hubner still. And I don't think he's a sell unless you're desperate.
Yeah.
To do something. He's only about 370, so he hasn't risen by much yet.
Mate, there's other fish to fry to sell first. Guys like Marzu, Nicholson, Adam Dewey's another one that probably should be a sell. There's a stack of guys there you should be getting rid of first.
He's going to get you 40 odd points at least. So I think he's stuck at about that level. But I don't see him as being an urgent sell.
Yeah.
Right there. What's Teddy's come through? Who are your trades this week, boys? Trell or Teddy? Would you trade Huddy Young for Teddy via Jules, obviously?
Well, not without. I wouldn't be doing any of those trades this round. Not without knowing the Origin teams. Yeah. I think that's a trade decision that you could probably make next week, Big Ted, because we all know Hudson Young will definitely play Origin. Trill, I reckon, is pretty much a lock. Teddy, we don't know. So unless if you're not worried about the buy coverage or Origin, then I'd probably go to Teddy if I'm gonna go either.
Teddy. I don't think. I could do that without knowing the Origin teams, and it's only 1 week. I don't think it's going to really affect your cash overly, depending upon who you're selling. I don't think your cash problem is going to be overly affected. If you can save the next week, I know you hate to save a buy, but if you got one, Ted, save it. No, he won't. He'll use it.
No, you won't. He's like biggest dickus. He doesn't know how to.
I probably, if I could, I would wait a week on those trades.
Yeah.
I think there's a few others out there which we know are not going to play Origin that we probably should be moving on. By one we didn't mention earlier, of course, is Nickera. He's about bottomed out too, Ross.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Definitely another option as a replacement. If you've got Marzu and you're moving him on or Nicholson, and you got the jewels to get rid of Marzu and say move a Lucas or someone down to your centre wing.
Yeah.
By all means, Nakora. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we know that, Ted. We know you're a rager.
we know.
We know.
So, Mikey McGaw has said, Ross, man, are you saying May is now irrelevant? Is that was that the point you meant? No.
No, I was just talking about how he's probably going to play. He's probably locked to play 80 minutes with that bench. He'll play Origin. I don't think he starts, but he'll probably come off the bench in the Origin team. I reckon Mitch Barnett and Haas are probably the locks to start at prop for me.
Oh,
good.
You're doing the Magic Round. Excellent, Al. We'll see you there.
We'll see you there. Yeah.
Put that up without even reading it first, but no.
Yep.
Love to see you. Absolutely love to see you. Mike Dewey to Lucas.
It's not even. That's not even a. Is that even a question? Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's a classic example of the kind of trade you should be doing. It's not.
So you're saying it's not. You're saying it's not a sideways or backwards trade, Brad.
No, it's not. That's probably the best trade I've seen this year. If you can pull it off, do it right now. Don't even think. You will not be regretting that trade unless Dylan breaks a leg this week, and then of course that's.
Talking about trades, Brad, I've got a couple of quick ones for you, just quickly. Yep. I know we've still got plenty of time. Top 10 traded out. Number 4 on the list is Corey Horsburgh. I sold him last week. He's back this week from his concussion. Would you be selling him this week, given he's basically playing for an Origin spot and also playing against the Titans?
Well, he'll be playing Origin. The Queenslanders are a bit bereft, right, in several areas, and each spot is nearly assured on the bench. I can't see him having too much competition there. I sold him last week. He had about peaked. He's still about at that peak right now. It's not an urgent sell, but if you wish to move him on now, I can see how it would be sort of making sense because I did it last week.
Yeah, I did it last week too. I just didn't know whether it would be the right play to be doing it still this week or not.
I think definitely. I can't see it being a bad trade.
Yeah.
I couldn't knock that trade a little bit.
Number 5, Kalen Ponga, Brad. We keep talking every week how he's a hold. He's going to come good. He's had one good game in about the last 2 months. He's at 543K, so he ain't getting any cheaper than what he is now. With a break even of, if you give me one sec, break even of 48. Would you be selling Kalen Ponga at home against the Eagles this week?
If that's the only problem you've got, you're doing pretty bloody good. It's one of those ones. Yeah. So that means you don't have Marzu and you don't have Nicholson.
Yeah.
And so in order to get up to the Drinky level or the Teddy level, so you're going to need nearly an extra 300K, aren't you? Like 200.
Yeah, well, I think you need 360K to get to Drinky because he's 900K now. Yeah. So you're going to need at least a minimum of 200K to get to a Teddy.
So you've either been saving a lot of money or you're going to have to cheapen up some other position. Too many cheap positions, you're going to find it hard in Origin time. Trust me. Yeah. It does have a balance.
Yeah. Last one on the trade out list is Tamale from the Raiders, Brad. Break even about 70. Good buy coverage. 562K. Did have an off game, but to be fair, they were dominated in that second half by the Dogs. Would you be selling him?
I would if I already owned Herbie, Carraz. Like if you were fairly strong in your centres, you've gone in strong.
Yeah.
Then it makes sense because you can possibly, there is a few cheapies and that going running around. And if you want to generate cash for another position, say up in the second row and get a elite player up there, it's very team dependent, that one. If I never went with Tamale, so it's very hard to sort of judge from mine. But it's a lot of people are going to be trading Jenkins. Is Jenkins there on the top listed?
No, he's not. No.
Yeah,
but a lot of people traded him out last week, though.
Yeah, true. I'm a bit uncertain about whether he's got a -2 break even still. And it's not going to take much for an injury or two. And don't forget Brian Toto probably going to go over to Origin, possibly.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in that great a form. So it's you would think that Jenkins is up for more games over that Origin period. Not sure about that one. Nathan says
he's not playing for an Origin spot. He's already got that fullback spot locked and loaded, mate. They've already picked their fullback. They've got no one else. Walker's injured. Yeah.
Look, I don't mind the VC. Darren Morton here has written in saying that he's considering him for a VC against the Eels. I don't mind it. It would be a pod play. And you know what? I might be doing it. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Manicure and Pedicure had the VC on him last week and he only got 32.
I know, but at some point, and I don't think I'm trading him this week myself, so
I still think he's affected by that injury, though. I don't think it's helping him at all, that injury that he's got. So I think it's one of those ones that are pain management, and I just think he's really struggling with it.
Yeah, it could be. But no, Darren, that's a cracking question there, mate, or point. I
actually don't mind it. I actually don't mind it because if you go and have a look at the matchups this week and your VC and C choices, honestly, it's not. There's no standouts this week, Brad, at all.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm VCing Fletcher Sharp against the Eels on Friday night, and then I'm probably going to captain most likely Drinky in their game. But even that scares me. I mean, Manly due a bounce back, surely. So I don't know yet. But one more, Brad, before we finish up. On the trading list, number 7, Brad. We talk about spuds of Supercoach. Corey Allen, number 7, traded in.
Oh, well.
Please don't tell me you've got a case for this, do you?
Not really.
No.
Look, I just think there are better options out there. That's all.
I'd rather enough than go Corey Allen.
Even what's Laybutt? How much is Laybutt priced?
Hang on.
Laybutt up at the Cowboys. If he's
$389K.
Yeah, if you can get him Laybutt over Corey Allen, please do.
Yeah.
But the Dragons really are not going that well, and they're just as likely to change their winger again next week.
I'm pretty certain that what's his name's only a week or two away back too as well. Tupelotu, he's back in a week or two as well. So again, that makes that trade even make no sense at all.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So is that about it?
That's it.
That's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for having a listen. Thank you for the listeners. Big Ted over there in New Zealand. Thanks, Teddy. Mike McGaw, the Mad Raging Dragon. We had Nathan. We also had Darren. And there's a few others there. Alan Fisher. There's a few others there that haven't commented, and that's all cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in there. Thanks for the comments. We'll always love it. Go the Blues this Thursday night, the Blues women. We watched the game at Magic Round, didn't we, Ross? And I'll tell you what, it wasn't that bad.
We destroy them and we destroy them again. Don't forget, we'll be back Sunday night for our round wrap. Obviously, with the game being at 6:15, we'll probably go live around about 8:30 on Sunday night. Special guest this week is Guy Feeney from the Supercoach Champions, I think it is. He's from. And then obviously next week's another big one too, because we have Dave DVG coming on next week as well, who is the who obviously won the NBL, was it Brad? The NBL Supercoach? Yeah. So I'll have him on too. He's doing well in the NRL as well. So looking forward to having those guys on.
He's certainly in the top hundreds.
Yeah.
Somewhere up there, and he's finished very high up in the cricket. He's a crazy Supercoach.
Yeah.
He's good for someone that has 12 kids or whatever he has.
Yeah.
Guess what else you can do with your time, you know?
Oh, well, you know, making your trades at midnight when the kids are finally asleep.
Yeah, because he tell us a funny story about that. Anyway, we might ask him about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget, share it, tell your friends, whatever you want. Push like or subscribe. Till Sunday night this week, a bit later at 8:30. We'll see you then.